So I actually learned a lot about forgiveness, not from the ministry, but because my work before the ministry was working as a psychotherapist. And there's a famous and well-published psychologist, Kathryn Ellis, who's not a relation of mine, who said that all our psychological problems actually come from blame, either blaming ourselves or blaming other people, or blaming, you know, God, life, the universe, the situation, the system. But it all involves our saying, you were wrong, or I was wrong, we did it wrong. And it's past-oriented, and it's focused on demanding that the world or other people be the way that we would like them to be. And so then when a lot of us then get stuck in the whole idea of forgiveness, because sometimes we don't want to give up that idea that other people or the world really ought to be the way we want it to be, because it makes sense the way we want things to be. We want things to be fair and people to be treated well, and we Unitarian Universalists work hard to try to create those circumstances, and yet we ourselves, because we're human, will hurt people. We won't be the way that we want to be, much less have our loved ones always be the way that we want to be. So part of forgiveness is actually learning to give up blame. Blame takes our life energy away. But people do get stuck with the idea of forgiveness or confused about it, because often they've been taught that it's a religious obligation, you know, to be a good person, I should forgive. And then what sometimes happens is people just want to deny their own feelings, whether they're hurt or angry or whatever, and just say, I forgive you. And that's, you know, that kind of inauthentic forgiveness. It doesn't really feel good to anyone. Part of understanding forgiveness is not seeing it as an event, which is another way that people get stuck with it. They think of it as a one-time thing, I forgive you, or will you forgive me? And then it's done. But it's not an event, it's a process. It's a process that may take some time, because if you're going to have really authentic forgiveness, you have to first actually feel what you feel. You have to stop and feel your own feeling, and be able to label it as good. So if I'm feeling angry or bitter or resentful, just hurt and sad, I need to know what it is, and I need to have some idea of how it is that I feel that way, both in terms of what happened, but also what is it that I perceive and think about what happened that leads me to feel hurt and angry. And then, once you feel it, sort of know where it come from. In other words, you feel it and then you think about it. Then you might be ready to move on to the next step, which is really then trying to understand, if it's another person, or what happened from that other person's perspective or other people's perspective, how it happened, how they may understand it. Forgiveness is really both necessary for us if we're going to live whole, peaceful lives. And it's very possible, but it can't be rushed. It has to be one step at a time. It requires compassion and acceptance of yourself, and compassion and acceptance for the other people. Jack Kornfield's a Buddhist writer. He said, forgiveness acknowledges that no matter how much we may have suffered, we will not put another human being out of our heart. And so I hope that we can, in fact, do just that, is keep other human beings in our hearts, including ourselves, and allow ourselves to take these forgiveness steps just at the right pace for us.